early in November. J.D. Walton, former Baylor All-American Center, he joins us on 365 Sports with Craig and David Smoke. J.D., thanks for your time. What was your reaction? And I hope your dentist office, by the way, was nice to you. What was your reaction when Walter called you?
I had a cold drink, and we just got out of the pool, and we're doing a brisket, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. What an honor. And it was, it was just me and the wife and the kids. So we were all excited and celebrated. And it's a great deal. Very excited.
JD, did the thought of entering the Baylor Hall of Fame ever at any point since your playing career wrapped up enter your mind?
Yeah, I mean, in the very back, but it was nothing that I expected, maybe way on down the line whenever I had grandkids, maybe, and they ran out of people to put in there or something. But, no, it's awesome, man. We're truly excited about it. I mean, it's awesome because my 9-year-old boy kind of understands what it's about, and, he'll believe now that I was a good athlete back in the day.
Yeah, some of that video may not be available as much as it once was, although I'm sure there is. Part of when you look up J.D. Walton and how you ended up at Baylor, you transferred from Arizona State, and the next sentence will say, but because of the transfer rules, you had to sit out of a year. Are you not, it's not bitter, but are you somewhat jealous of the new transfer portal rules they have now?
Absolutely. Now I am. Now the guys are getting paid. So, heck, that would have been something else nice to get on. But shoot, I thought about it. We were joking around with some buddies. I was like, hell, maybe I can go get me another a year back. But after my body right now, I don't think that'd be a wise decision. But man, it's good. To me, it's still early on to see how it'll affect college football. But part of me likes it. And part of me, because you got these guys at the smaller schools that do great, then they can go play some big time football somewhere else. So, but I'm indifferent on it. I don't know yet.
You were a connecting part from what Baylor had been in football, which was a long time, as you know, of struggles, to then being a part of the run that they started to make under Art Briles. How much do you look back at that, knowing that the culture changed and the games or the team started to get more talented?
Yeah, definitely. Briles was a very special guy and excellent football coach. And I mean, with him and Kaz, the strength coach at the time, I knew when they showed up, it was going to be something special. It's a shame it started right after I got done, but heck, I couldn't have been more happy for those guys. And, just watching the different kinds of athletes that started coming in, like the guys that I'd come back and watch practice or whatnot, and these guys were just monsters. And I'm like, there's no way, So seeing that transformation happen and the way they've kept it going now is truly awesome.
How much do you have you been around with Dave Aranda as head coach? Have you had any communication with him? Eric Mateos, the offensive line coach, anybody?
I speak to Eric every once in a while, every 5-6 weeks, just saying hello. Nothing crazy, just, dropping a line. And Aranda, I had a FaceTime with him last year for a little bit. Seems like an awesome guy. Keep having that defense work and then keep that outside zone going up front on the offensive side and start hurting some people. Hopefully we can get the ball downfield a little bit and open up that run game.
J.D. Walton, soon to be in November, a part of the Baylor Athletics Hall of Fame when we had Pat Nunley. We mentioned Max Muncy from the Dodgers. He's going to be involved among others who are honored. You mentioned your body. If you don't mind me asking, because you had the injury that pretty much derailed your career, how much do you have of aches and pains to this day?
Oh, we ain't got enough time right now. It's something that comes along with it, I wake up, my ankle, 3 surgeries on it, and it goes up to your knee, then your hip, and then your low back, and then it goes over the other side, and then, my whole job was punching people and grabbing and holding, so then when it's cold outside, your fingers hurt, and then when it's hot, your elbows and your shoulders and your wrists and everything swell up. So, I mean, it's a daily deal that the ex-players get to deal with, but in the same light, I'm not 100% sure I trade it for anything in this world. So,
Do you feel like the NFL takes care of you enough?
As retirement guys, not at all. To me, there's no excuse. You don't have medical benefits if you're a vested player and you earn the pension and all that stuff. To me, you should be getting medical the rest of your life, whether it's the physical aspect or the mental aspect. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on, and it's just, I don't know. I think all the other sports have it. So.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is we have had, from the times we've been at Super Bowls on Radio Row with former players back in the 60s and 70s, you know about the gridiron greats, and obviously some with Mike Ditka and many others have tried to give back to former players, and they've done a lot with that. But I still feel, and I still hear, and first time I've ever asked you that question, that there is still a long way to go.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, it's the stuff guys deal with, and the NFL kind of just writes their hands of them after 5 years if you're a vested guy. If you play, I don't even know the best anymore, if it's 3 years, if you play 2.5 years and have a debilitating injury, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
You get vested. Some guys that played 10 years, what happens, and they weren't the Peyton Mannings, they're not the J.J. Watts, they're not these big-name guys. All right, well, they don't have $50 million in the bank. What do they do in 10 years when their knees go out? They start having all these problems. They can't get up and move, and they don't have health insurance, It's frustrating. But, again, I mean, I guess you know what you sign up for, but there's still a wish that the amount of money that's made through the NFL, I don't think it would hurt too bad to get people insurance.
Yeah, and you would not, and you mentioned this, you wouldn't give up a moment of what it took to get to that point, knowing even what happened after you hurt your ankle.
Man, there's nothing like it in this world. You can't find it anywhere. So, I mean, that's hard. The birth of your kids and your wedding and all that stuff is pretty close, but running out in front of 100,000 people screaming and playing in front of 25 million people watching on TV on Monday Night Football that's a different deal.
JD, if you could reflect on the moments like that were like that during your college career, when you think about the moments that stand out above others, what are maybe a couple of those in green and gold that you still cling on to?
Man, we went to Missouri. I believe it was my senior year, and I got dinged. First quarter, run out on screen, come back sideline, don't really know what's going on, hanging out. My buddy Sam Sledge goes in, plays center. Come back around fourth quarter, I'm answering all the questions right there, like, let's go. So let's go. We ended up winning the game. It was awesome. We beat Texas A&M. That was unbelievable. Getting to play in those stadiums, it's hard to beat 100,000 people and they start swaying side to side. They're annoying, but looking up in those stands is pretty crazy.
What are your thoughts about Baylor football since you left? Obviously, the great run with Briles, the Heisman Trophy, winning Big 12 titles, and then the fall, and then Rule building him back up, and then he goes, and now Aranda had the 12-2. Last year was obviously disappointing. When someone mentions Baylor football post J.D. Walton, what do you say?
I hate that it ended with Briles, but love to see where it's at right now. If Aranda, we can get him to stick around like what Briles was doing, get him there 8, 10, 15 years, get it established, get him built into that community, dig his heels in, show him that we can have a big program, show him that we can win, we can compete in the playoff, we can get into the playoff, get into those national championship games. To me, that's where Briles had it, and to me, I hope that's where Aranda can keep it at, keep it going. Because I mean, heck, he's starting off good, but hopefully we can get somebody that will buy in and not use it as a stepping stone to project or propel themselves forward. And I, speaking to Aranda and hearing and listening to him, he got offers. So hopefully he's that guy who can get dug into the community. And I love where it's at right now, the way it's going. I love the O-line coach, like I said earlier, talking to him, and the stuff that they do. So.
Yeah, Randy Clements was as good as there ever was or will be, but Eric Mateos is, I think, in that same category. Does the winning or the emotions of winning or losing, if Baylor wins or loses, does that change with you each year as it goes by?
Heck no. I'm always a Baylor Bear. We lost. That sucks. We won. Heck yeah. It's you're always going to pull for them because that's where you went. That's where, you blood, sweat, tears. That's, my wife's a dead gum Sooner. So we go to a Sooner game, we go to a Baylor game, and we're looking at our boys like, what shirt you going to wear, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So there's always that. And I'm, Baylor through and through. They got me what I have in this life, and there's nothing I can't discount that. And I never will. It's a special place to me and my family, and, we love it down there.
All right, so you got the call from Walter Abercrombie. We asked you about the emotions. What started going through your mind once you realized that was a legitimate and that was going to happen? You were going into the Hall of Fame.
I said, do I have to give a speech? And, I talked to Jason Smith last night, actually. We were just kind of going back and forth, and he said, yeah, brother-in-law, you got to do a speech. And I just was like, oh, my gosh, I can't do all that. So that'll be the mountain we climb on that.
How long does it have to be? They usually like to limit the minutes. I would think with you that might make you feel even better.
Absolutely. I'm not going to go past the minimum. I know that much.
So can you get it all in 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes?
There's a long list of names that I got to thank and, be grateful for, but I speak pretty quick whenever I get nervous.
So you mentioned Smooth, Jason Smith, obviously a part of that next level for Baylor and how they built what was about to happen starting with 2010 and beyond and what you guys did. Any other former players you've been in touch with?
Oh, yeah. I got group chats with all kinds of guys, and I coach up here in Frisco, in the North Dallas area, and, I see guys all the time. So, there's Dwayne Crawford, there's Zemansky, Pavelik, Lake, Sledge, Lamb. Shoot, Lamb just got his second Super Bowl ring with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a whole list of guys.
Yeah.
That, it's, just keeping in check. James Barnard, Brody, Trahan, the Koffold. There's all types of guys.
Yeah, you mentioned Lamb. He's helped build that. Now, yeah, Andy Reid gets the credit, and he should. The ownership, of course, is phenomenal with Kansas City. But, and Patrick Mahomes surely doesn't hurt, but Jason's major part of them acquiring and building the right matches to keep that thing going.
Absolutely. That guy's done unbelievable for them. And he, we're in the big group chat, and he'll send the pictures with all the guys in his rings, and everybody's just losing their mind. Like, that's so awesome. And everybody's so happy for him and proud of him.
All right, JD, November 3rd, you're going to get up, whatever the length of the speech is. Will you sleep that night before, or you have to take like something to calm you down before the banquet that night?
No, shoot, it ain't going to be worse than, like I said, 20 million watching you do something. But I don't know. I sure hope not. I bet I'll go to sleep. I got enough family and stuff that'll be in town. We'll be hanging out, having a good time. So.
I bet you will. What do you miss the most about playing football?
Oh, locker room, by far. The relationships you build with the guys that you see every day, the coaches, the training staff, the weight staff. I'm sure you see the weight staff more than anybody in the training staff. Those guys are integral parts of any program. You're going to be successful with that training staff, and that weight room staff is going to be studs. And, man, just the relationships you build with all of them. And the time spent not even at football, just joking around, cutting up, sitting down, talking, learning about family, learning about things, and sharing things about yourself. And that's really the meat of it. Football's the fun part where you get to go get after somebody, but sitting down in that locker room, those relationships you build will never be the same anywhere else.
Anytime I've asked a player, former player who played in the NFL or not, or former college player, the number one go-to answer is that locker room. There is some that will mention the roar of the crowd, kind of that adrenaline rush, that high of the moment, but it is almost, I'd say, 3 out of 4 mention the friendships, the camaraderie from within that locker room. Can you even explain that?
It's hard. I mean, there's no BS in there. It's alphas amongst alphas, and it's different than the rest of the world. There's a reason that certain guys make it. There's a reason that certain guys are in that locker room, whether it is college, whether it is the NFL. I mean, these are the alphas, and just being able to interact and get their mindset, get their perspective on things, I mean, that's the best way I've heard it is, it's alphas amongst alphas, and you rule and you do your own deal, and it's just a brotherhood.
Yep, it's amazing. And congratulations. Great to have you on. We had Pat Nunley earlier, Max Muncy. He's right now still playing with the Dodgers among some others, and J.D. Walton right there, a part of it. You will be immortal now when it comes to Baylor with the Hall of Fame that comes up in November. Hope to see you before then and maybe have you on again before that week even gets you. We appreciate you jumping on with us today, and congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank y'all very much. It's hard to believe that it's happening, but heck, we're going to run with it and have fun and be sure appreciative of the opportunity that we got and the honor we're getting. So thank y'all for having me.
You too, JD. Thank you very much. JD Walton, former Baylor All-American Center, played with the Broncos. He had, and